From a wild boar fighting for its survival against a tiger to a zebra attacked by a crocodile, here are some of the ruthless fights that took place between some animals and their predators. In the South Luangwa National Park, in the east of Zambia, this mother elephant was in the company of her baby and another elephant with whom she had come to this river to quench her thirst. But as she had just dipped her trunk in the water, a nasty crocodile suddenly attacked her by biting the end of her long nasal organ. Ouch! Look what happens next. Despite the strength of the monstrous animal and the power of its bite, the elephant resisted by struggling with all her strength in the water against the reptile. After a few seconds of fierce struggle where she found herself almost entirely immersed in the river, under the eyes of her baby, she finally managed to get out of the water and escape with her baby. Of course, she was safe and sound, but well and truly exhausted and full of bruises after this duel. Not to mention her poor trunk, which probably took a big hit during the fight. Despite this, and although she was still in shock because of this surprise attack, this mother elephant could only feel proud of having been able to defeat the formidable animal and save her skin and that of her baby. That's right, after this real clash of the titans, this brave female won the admiration of all those who watched the video of this attack. Somewhere in Africa, this pack of visibly hungry African wild dogs was wandering the savannah, looking for some food to quell their hunger. But when they arrived at a watering hole, they were surprised to find a warthog, or savanna boar. The animal was quietly drinking. For these wild dogs, the timing couldn't have been better. However, despite their hunger, they decided to wait patiently for the animal to finish drinking, certain that they would make it an easy prey despite its imposing size. With their menu of the day guaranteed, they even allowed themselves to enjoy the image of the poor warthog that was trapped, without hurrying in the least. But their patience and great assurance finally got the better of them. Well, the predators were left to savor the moment, without knowing that another animal was also licking its lips. Indeed, a crocodile was lurking under the murky surface of the water, ready to attack the warthog. The wild dogs were surprised when the reptile jumped out of the water and jumped on the warthog, pulling it to the bottom under their helpless eyes. Their prey had just disappeared before their eyes without warning and without them being able to do anything about it. What bad luck. Disappointed and empty-handed, the wild dogs continued to observe this incredible scene for quite some time, willingly accepting their defeat at the hands of the winning crocodile. Next time, when they go hunting, they will make sure no other predators are lurking around. Do you like this video? Then don't forget to give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive all the notifications and not miss anything of our next publications. Let's continue. After spending some time basking in the hot sun, this crocodile had just returned to his nest where he was about to rest in the cool of the air and keep an eye on his eggs. Of course, he wanted to watch over his future babies and did everything to protect them from any small danger, including predators. But one of them had suddenly appeared. Against all odds, a giant python appeared out of nowhere and came dangerously close to the crocodile's nest. Quickly, we had to react. Faced with this formidable predator, the crocodile then took up an attack position, ready to protect its eggs with all its strength and prevent the python from making a good meal of them. After a fierce duel that lasted several minutes, and where he risked being killed by the python, the crocodile was finally able to get rid of the snake. But this was due to two people who came in time to get the python out of its nest with their sticks and save it from certain death. This hard fight ended well for the crocodile, but look at its dejected look. However, although exhausted, he eventually regained his breath and strength, again with the help of the two men who put him back in the water. Well, here is a bad experience that will make him more careful in the future. The rhinoceros you see here was apparently cooling off in this waterhole in Kruger Park, South Africa, but while trying to get out of the water later, he got stuck in the mud. This is a very bad situation, that the arrival of 3 young lions made worse. The poor animal was definitely in trouble, but this rhinoceros didn't hear it that way. Indeed, for him, it was out of the question to be an easy prey for these 3 felines. Besides, in spite of the threatening presence of the young lions and the pawing they gave him from time to time, this brave rhinoceros did everything to get out of the muddy waters, in spite of his enormous size and hop. After a final effort, he finally managed to free himself from his trap and find dry land. Our hero was certainly saved but exhausted by so much effort. And as if that wasn't enough, he still had to face the trio that was facing him. But look what happened. By charging at his predators and threatening them with his horn, the brave rhino managed to make all 3 of them run away. Thus, he was able to quietly return to his territory. And that's it. All's well that ends well. But after what happened to him that day, this rhino will certainly never dare to refresh himself in a watering hole again. In the Tadoba National Park, in India, a mother Lipu bear was quietly walking with her cub to a waterhole to quench her thirst. However, she did not expect to find herself face to face with a tiger. That's right, the reigning heatwave had pushed the feline to go to the same water point to drink and refresh himself. At the sight of him, Mama Bear immediately turned back, before turning back and subsequently engaging in a merciless battle with the ferocious animal. Watch. Thanks to her courage and maternal instinct, this brave female managed to preserve her life and that of her cub. But of course, it was not easy for her. And how? To lead a fierce fight against a formidable predator known for its capacity to kill and devour these bears which live mainly on the Asian continent is never without consequences. In fact, this battle earned Mama Bear several injuries, but although bruised and exhausted, she was able to return to her territory safe and sound, and most importantly, alive. Phew, she had a close call, but this bad experience was a lesson for her. Indeed, it taught her to be very careful when approaching water, especially in hot weather. The wild boar you see here was in this area of the forest where it had probably come to look for some food. However, he had the misfortune to fall on this tiger which then threw itself on him. No doubt, the animal was facing a certain death. However, although his predator was holding on tightly and trying to block all the movements of the wild pig, the latter resisted with all his strength, fighting for his survival. Look at how well it was holding on. Then, taking advantage of a sudden slackening of the feline, the boar turned around and hopped. He managed to quickly change position and to stand up to his predator. This made the tiger react, and he in turn jumped on his paws to continue this battle without mercy. But we can say that thanks to this reversal of the situation, the boar had nothing to fear from the feline. Indeed, with his imposing size, he even managed to push the tiger back into the woods, as you can see in this video. Well, this animal proved that he was as strong as his predator, and above all, that he was not an easy prey to take. This young red fox was happily frolicking in this meadow in a national park in the United States, holding the hare it had just hunted firmly in its fangs. But as he was looking for a quiet place to enjoy his prey, the redhead suddenly saw a bald eagle appear from nowhere and head towards him to grab his prey. But for him, there was no question of letting the hare go. The young animal then started to run with all its strength to escape the raptor. But the latter was much faster than him, and in a split second, the poor fox was lifted in the air with his prey to a height of 6 meters. Watch. Fortunately, the eagle finally let go of him after a few seconds, probably because he was too heavy for him, and the young animal found the solid ground, safe and sound but probably a little sore by this brutal fall. Well, he certainly came to his senses eventually and probably returned to his pack afterwards, relieved and happy to be still alive. However, he will keep a bad memory of this experience. This young leopard was wandering around somewhere in the Kruger National Park in South Africa, obviously bored and looking for some distraction to keep him busy. Suddenly, he saw 2 porcupines coming. Finally, he had found 2 playmates. The young feline approached the 2 rodents, but they were not ready to play with him. After having tried to approach the first one, he turned to the second one, put himself in position of attack, and hop. He leapt at the wild rodent and managed to catch it, but he soon regretted it. Indeed, the porcupine had planted its long needles in the body of the young feline. Ouch, this must have certainly caused him a lot of pain. The young leopard simply stopped his game and removed one by one the long needles which were planted in his chest. From this uncomfortable situation, this young inexperienced animal will have learned never to try to reach out and fraternize with a porcupine. In the Masai Mara National Reserve in Kenya, this zebra was crossing the Mara River with his herd. He wanted to reach the other bank with his fellow zebras when suddenly he was attacked in the water by a gigantic crocodile. Resisting with all his strength not to be dragged into the river, the striped animal did everything to escape the dangerous reptile. Indeed, he was well decided to fight until the end against his predator who had just afflicted him a terrible bite at the level of the stomach. However, despite his condition and the pain he must have felt at that moment, the zebra remained strong. So he managed to get back on his feet quickly and run out of the water, despite the huge hole on his belly. But unfortunately, this crazy race to reach the bank and escape the crocodile only made things worse. Because the poor animal started to lose its entrails, under the shocked look of the people who had just witnessed this incredible scene. After exhausting all its strength, the zebra finally fell to the ground, submitting to the law of nature and letting itself die under the fangs of a horde of hungry crocodiles. Despite this, it has become just another symbol of the struggle for survival in the animal kingdom. You have just discovered some merciless fights between animals and their predators. Some of them came out alive, others, unfortunately, did not. Tell me, which of these fights shocked or fascinated you the most? Leave me your answer in the comments. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video.